Lakeith Stanfield and Charlamagne the Guy have been going back and forth lately. Charlamagne's latest shot at Lakeith came after an interview with Daniel Kaluuya, where he said Lakeith was born to play the role of Snitch William O'Neill in the movie Judas and the Black Messiah. Now, the two have had problems for a while, beginning back in 2019, when Stanfield accused The Breakfast Club, along with other Black outlets, for pushing forward negative stereotypes. In return, Charlamagne gave him Donkey of the Day. Since then, Lakeith had made headlines for a diss song he made and for waving a gun at the picture for Charlamagne. Today on the show, we have our Comedy Hype analysts, Rita Brent, Capone, and Pierre, to answer the question, if Lakeith truly cares about Black outlets, is he going about this the right way? And I want to start with you, Pierre. Your thoughts on that.
First, I actually want to give a shout out to, I've been traveling for the last 6 weeks, and I'm getting so much positivity from the show. A lot of people say they see the show, they like the show. Even comedians even tell me they like the show. And that's that's a rarity when comics tell you they like the show. So I just want to tell everybody, thank you so much for supporting this platform. The love is out there. So I do appreciate it. I just want to let everybody know that we do appreciate that. Now with him, I understand what he's saying. As far as, pushing the envelope of negativity. But like you said, like everyone says, we live in a world that has positive and negative. I mean, we can't just just go one-sided. But sometimes, Black people feel like it hurts when we say stuff about ourselves. We expect white folks to say something bad about us. It just kind of hurts when we say it about ourselves. But it's the reality we live in. We live in a real world. And I understand what Charlamagne said. Hey, I talk about everything across the board, like we do here on Comedy Hype. It ain't just one way. And if you can't really handle hearing negativity, you really got a problem in this world, because everything's not going to be positive out here. So I think as a whole, though, the Breakfast Club and even us, we try to push positive situations, even with a negative twist. If something's negative, we try to find a positive in it. But we all going to report everything we see. And sometimes in the world we live in, it's negative. So you got to deal with it. That's how I live. So I see both people's stances.
Rita, what are your thoughts on the subject?
Well, I think people and businesses have a right to brand themselves however they want. You can cover whatever the hell you want to cover on your platform. Because lest we forget, Lakeith Stanfield posted a picture of Kamala Harris on his Instagram page and said he didn't like her hair. He decided to brand himself that day as a person who perpetuated a negative stereotype about a Black woman. So that was your right to post that on your page. That was his defense. This is my page. You're not going to tell me what to say. So you can't turn around and tell Charlamagne and TMZ and Shade Room what to say on their platform when you do what you want to do on yours. And he has enough influence where if you feel like these platforms are so negative, he has enough influence and money and power to start his own platform to counteract what he sees.
Now, Capone, I know you probably agree with that, starting your own platform, pushing another Black on. But on this, what's your take on this?
I agree with Charlamagne. I agree that I've never really seen Homeboy, period, on any Black platforms or, for the most part of it, working with Comedy Hype, you start to hear everything that people say negative and why they don't want to be on it or why they don't pretty much support us in some senses. I didn't hear all the great stuff about us, but like Pierre said, we talk about everything. We talk about good, we talk about bad, and I think that some people just don't know what to say, so they'll just say it.
And I definitely agree too. And I think this isn't a new conversation. For me personally, I see Black celebrities stay away and shun Black platforms all the time. We've all mentioned, working here with Comedy Hype. Before I came to Comedy Hype, and a lot of people, before they come to Comedy Hype, there's so many negative things that you hear. But, as Pierre mentioned, it's reality to have to talk about the good and the bad. If we're pushing this pretty picture all the time, are we really pushing reality, or are we pushing a fantasy on our fans? So, I want to start back with you, Pierre. Why do you feel like Black celebrities kind of shun Black outlets so much?
Well, it's kind of like being on the schoolyard or with your boys on the street corner. We're willing to say anything to each other. Look how vicious we can be. Mama joking. We'll talk about any and everything. Something wrong with your foot, your face. We'll let you know. And I think sometimes Black celebrities are afraid to come on a Black quote unquote Black platform because they're going to keep it 100 and ask them all kind of questions. Well, sometimes white platforms trying to dodge around it. Oh my God, I don't want to touch that subject, whatever. And so, artists sometimes fear that. I mean, I think if you're a true artist, you'll go on any platform. You really go on any platform. So And it's shameful because here you are as an artist and you're afraid to come to your own people because they might ask you a question. Well, dude, you in show business, man. Learn how to talk around and make it work for you. Why run from that? It just seems very, very, very like they're very insecure as artists, like very insecure. And I'll have none of that. Come on to Comedy Hype. Let's talk.
Right now, so before moving on, I do want to play Charlamagne's response to Lakeith, because as I mentioned earlier, they have been going back and forth, but recently Charlamagne did respond to Lakeith, and here's his response.
Because I have a piece of advice for Lakeith, and it's simple. Don't dish it if you can't take it, King. The brother has a bad habit of throwing rocks and hiding his hands. He's made comments about the Breakfast Club and other black outlets being anti-black, being negative, reinforcing negative stereotypes of black people. That was back in 2019. I gave him Donkey of the Day for that and pointed out all the times he's gone on these white people's platforms and reinforced negative stereotypes of black people himself. I left it alone after that. But I gave him a little jab during the interview with Daniel.
Bang!
Now, Rita, after watching that, what are your thoughts about Charlamagne's? Because as he mentioned, all this time that, he's getting all this, he sees the diss record, he sees all these things that Lakeith is saying about him. He hasn't responded, but now he's responding. What are your thoughts on his response?
Yeah, this is some man beef. I don't know. They might just need to fight it out. I don't know. But now Charlamagne's shading of him in regard to the movie Judas and the Black Messiah, I thought that was kind of low because I saw the movie and Lakeith did an amazing job. But with Lakeith responding to Charlamagne and going back and forth with him is to me is even overshadowing his performance in this movie. Like he's taken almost an Azalea Banks approach with social media, where he's just kind of being wild and reckless with the things that he's posting. And now you don't want that to sabotage what you have going on the acting side, because he's talented as hell on the acting side. So I wouldn't be going back and forth with Charlamagne, because Charlamagne knows what his brand is. Like, this is what he does. And so if he keeps doing this war thing with Charlamagne, he's not going to win. But I mean, I understood what Charlamagne was saying. Like, don't dish it if you can't take it.
And I think that's the contradicting part, right? Where he's saying, black outlets put all this negative, but it's like, but you're continuing this back and forth with Charlamagne. Let's have a conversation, instead of going back and forth online. Capone, before we wrap up, I do want to hear your thoughts after seeing Charlamagne's reaction.
I know Charlamagne personally, and one thing about him is he is meant to do what he's doing. He's not going to hold his tongue. And as Rita said, that's his battlegrounds. He loves this type of stuff. And for him to say that I held back after all the stuff that he said about me and all the memes and all of that, he said, but for me to take a little shot, it's almost like Charlamagne is saying, look, I can pluck you and it affect you. You doing all that you're doing, and it doesn't mean nothing. And here I give you a little shot, and you want to come at all black medias, but you're really talking about me. That's what it seemed like to me.
Absolutely. And I think the sad part of all of this is it's not just Lakeith. There are so many celebrities, black celebrities in particular, that feel the way that Lakeith feels. And I understand, you wanted to see positive along with the negative, but I would challenge Lakeith and other celebrities. Go to these black outlets. Look at your list. I would challenge Lakeith. Look at the list of outlets that you've gone to. Look at the white ones. Look at the black ones. How many black outlets have you really given a chance to? Because the ones you named, that's like you mentioned, Rita, that's what they branded themselves as. We know what the Shade Room is for. We know when we go and watch the Breakfast Club, what we're going to get. We're going to get that balance. When I go to Shade Room, I know I'm going to get a little bit of messy stuff. But I challenge Lakeith and other black celebrities to really start going to these black outlets. I challenge comedians in particular, black comedians. Here's Comedy Hype, a platform for black comedians. I challenge them to come, no matter what you hear, because you have to have your own experience. And I think that's the unfortunate part of it. This is not just a one-off situation. This is a situation that we see in Hollywood or just in our community in general. So I challenge them, and I really hope we do continue to see a change. I think this is a conversation that needs to be had. And I appreciate all you calling in to give your perspectives on this. You heard from us. Now we want to hear from you in the comments below. What do you think about Lakeith? Is he handling this the right way? Let us know down below. For Comedy Hype News, I'm Symphony Thompson.
Do you know the comedy culture? Play Comedy Hype, the game. Out now.